Hi, Teri here from Stamping Magic. Welcome back to my channel. Today's project is this lovely masculine gift box. I've used the Geared Up Garage stamp set together with the coordinating Garage Gears dies. I've also used some of our retired Mercury Glass designer acetate, but you could replace this with plain acetate, paper or cardstock. The box is 5 inches wide, 5 inches deep and 3½ inches tall. So let's get started. These are all the measurements you need for all the elements required to create this project. So if you're interested in reproducing it, take a screenshot so you can refer to it later. I'm going to start with the base, and I have a piece of 12 inch by 12 inch cardstock in Pretty Peacock. And I'm going to score this on all sides at 3½ inches. I'm using this retired Mercury Glass acetate for my lid. Now, you could use any acetate that you have, printed or clear, designer series paper or cardstock for the lid. The measurements are exactly the same. Now, if you're using printed acetate, you will notice that one of the sides is much smoother than the other, and you want to score on that side so you don't remove any of the print. Now this I'm going to score with my Simply scoreboard, and I'm going to score on all sides at 1½ inches. I find it easier to fold on the score lines when I haven't made any cuts. This acetate is quite resistant to folds until it's been burnished. Now when you burnish, make sure again that you're burnishing that smooth side. You don't want to remove any of the print. So just take your time, fold on the score lines and then burnish. I'm going to create tabs on each corner, and to do this I'm just going to cut up the vertical score lines to the horizontal, and it's just a straight cut. I'm not notching the sides of any of these tabs. So I've done 2 on one side, and then I'm going to turn it to the opposite side and cut the remaining 2. The base will be treated just a little differently. Again, I'm going to create tabs on each corner by cutting up the vertical score line. But this time I'm also going to notch the sides of the tab. I'm just taking a tiny slanted slither off of each side, and then I'm going to rotate my cardstock. Now, I rotate my cardstock so when I put my box together, the tabs don't overlap. Now, to get round this, I could trim them, but I just prefer to rotate my cardstock when I'm using large pieces and cut the tabs on each corner facing different directions. But to be honest, it doesn't matter what direction your tabs face. If they overlap, just trim them back a bit. So here's the last one, and I'm just going to take a tiny piece off of each side, and this just helps the box fold in a little neater. I can now fold on all the score lines and burnish them with my bone folder. To put the base together, all I have to do is add glue to each of the corner tabs, one at a time, and position it against the adjacent side section. Now when I do this, I'm ensuring that that corner remains completely square. Before putting the lid together, you may want to go and reburnish all the score lines with your bone folder. This will make sure that they're all nice and crisp and facing in the right direction. Now I'm not going to use wet glue for this, I'm going to use glue dots, and I'm just going to use 2 on each corner tab. You could use more if you find that the side is gaping or anything, but just see how you go. I find that 2 is ample. So I'm just putting them on that bottom edge, and then I can secure my corner. Again, you want to make sure that it's completely square. If you do have any little bits peeking up where you don't want them, just trim them off with scissors. And then you can add your lid to your base. I'm going to add a liner to the top of my lid so you can't see through it, and it will add a colour contrast. Now I'm using Seaside Spray cardstock, and I'm going to attach this with glue dots again, but I don't want the glue dots to peek through. On the left hand side there's some gaps in the mercury printing, so I don't want to place my glue dots where they'll show through there. So I'm just going to work out where I want them. The right hand side is okay, but you see the left hand side we've got those little gaps, so I'm going to adjust where I put the glue dots a little. Now 4 should secure it, but I'm going to add just a couple more. I can then slot it into the lid and give it a press down. This is the Geared Up Garage stamp set, and I'm just using the car image today. I'm stamping on a scrap piece of normal weight Whisper White card, and I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I'm going to cut out the car image using one of the dies from the Garage Gears die set. I used another of the dies on some pretty Pocock cardstock to create this large set of cogs. I've also die cut a white and pretty Pocock rectangle, and I used one of the Stitch So Sweetly dies to do this, and this is the third size down from this group. And I also have another small piece of acetate. I'm going to use a pencil to mark the halfway point along the top where I want to punch the hole, and then I'm going to punch this using the small hole punch on my crocodile. Now I have some Whisper White solid baker's twine here, and I folded it in half. I'm going to thread the loop through first of all, open it up, and then pull the ends through and pull it tight. And then I can position the car. And on the back is a space where you can write your message. The ribbon I'm using is our scalloped linen ribbon in Pretty Pocock. And first of all, I'm just going to tie this around the box, and I'm going to hold it in place using my reverse tweezers. I can then tie my tag around the centre of this and trim off the excess. I can then tie a knot over the top of the baker's twine with my ribbon, and this way the baker's twine knots won't show. And then I can just trim off the ends with my scissors. And that's it. That's my box complete. Now to get into the box, you don't have to untie the ribbon. It should slide off. Then you can remove the lid and get your goodies. And then to put it back on, you'll just need to carefully stretch the ribbon over the corner. And of course I had to create a card to go with the box. So I've used all the same products. The sentiment actually comes from the Zany Zebras stamp set. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Bye for now.